This podcast deals with themes, languages, and situations that may not be suitable for young audiences. If you're under the age of 18, parental guidance isn't going to help you here. Welcome to Now Open the Podcast, the sex education podcast that's more sex than education. I'm Trisha.
My name is Jobim.
And I'm Dora. It's my 4th day here.
Yay!
Hey, congrats, Dora. We have loved having you, honestly.
Thank you.
Look at that. We haven't
It's
scared
in the
Dora
past
away yet.
tense.
No, we love.
Why is it in the past tense?
No, don't worry. We love you here. That's why we keep asking you back week after week. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here anymore. Okay, so tonight's episode is about Jobim's personal favorite pastime. This is
true.
Now Open's episode on masturbation. Are you excited, Jobim?
I am. One of my favorite quotes is from world famous pervert Woody Allen, which goes, "Don't knock masturbation. It's sex with my favorite person." So that's
Great quote. Terrible person.
terrible person, horrible person.
Okay, but
Shitbag
before
of a
we get
person.
into our discussion tonight, we'd like to thank our partner for this episode, Ilya. Ilya, come and play.
And now the newsstand. A man from Illinois was indicted for traveling to the Philippines to have sex with a 14-year-old in 2018. Joseph Albert Fuchs III enticed the girl to have sex with him over a series of Facebook messages that sent her more than $1,000 in payments over 2 years. He faces 10 years up to life in prison, plus 2 additional charges up to 30 years each. In the Philippines alone, an estimated 60,000 to 100,000 children are trafficked annually, with most being 14 to 17 years old from impoverished parts of the country. The Philippines also ranks 4th in the world in terms of countries with the highest number of prostituted children.
God, why do I feel like we hear this every other week or every month or something? Some white guy just decides to come to the Philippines and rape some children. Like, honestly, I don't understand how frequent it is.
We're on the sex tourism belt, aren't we?
We
Like
are.
we're that Thailand, Philippines, what other Southeast Asian countries, gross old white people tour for diddling children. Yeah.
I have a question for you, Jobim. I saw this on TikTok the other day. Also for you, Trish. Actually, for all of us. This is the rule. If you had to choose 2 ages that will total up to 30, what ages would you fuck?
Oh my God.
That 2 ages
That's
that would total
terrible.
30. That is
Total
fucked up.
30.
Dude. That's a fucked up question. And the correct answer is 15-15. I'm kidding. No.
Honestly, that is also I mean that's my answer because I don't know actually because the alternatives are just really everything's bad. All of it's
Yeah,
bad.
the further
15
it goes on either end, it gets more and more fucked up because it'd be like 14, 16, 17, 13.
But then
Yeah.
I kind of want to fuck a 25 and a 5-year-old.
5-year-old.
You know?
No, but then 18,
Yeah.
12 is your safest answer because now it's just one crime with the oldest.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
This is
Now I just
terrible.
get to scar one child.
Yes, instead of 2.
Oh,
That's
Lord.
horrible. That's horrible. So yeah, I think it's because we are in that that sex tourism belt, and for as long as we remain impoverished, because the main theme in places where human trafficking, especially when it comes to children and sex trafficking, is rampant, is poverty, right? There's not as much child sex trafficking in Sweden. You know what I mean? It's always just. In fact, I'm pretty sure the Swedish pedophiles come here.
Yeah.
So
Great.
it's like, and it's a symptom of third world poverty, I think.
Absolutely. Like we've been ravaged, our resources and our money has been plundered, and
Right.
people are struggling, especially now. I remember maybe a few episodes ago we talked about how child exploitation has increased because of the pandemic, and partially it's because they stay at home more, and partially because a lot of people lost their jobs. So
Yeah.
it's terrible, it's awful. Then they should still go to jail, but like, I don't know, man. I feel like we're not addressing the root issue here, which is the poverty.
Right.
Oh, God. Anyway, well, that was terrible.
That was the newsstand.
That was a terrible.
Now sitting down.
Terrible news.
So if you'd maybe like slightly less terrible news, or if you just want to join in on the conversation, you can do so on the now open PH Discord server, where you'll be free to talk about anything and everything sexuality with like-minded people. Respectfully, of course. You can find the link to the server in the episode description. So let's get started with our topic for tonight, because I'm excited. We have so many anecdotes for tonight.
Oh, man. I don't know if I've shared my favorite masturbation anecdote before on the show, but you will definitely hear it tonight.
I'm
sometime
excited.
throughout the show. Yes.
But before we go to your favorite, I want to know about probably what was my most, no, it really wasn't, but what was your first masturbation experience? Like, how did you go about it? Like, I don't want to go into the really super gory details, but I want to know, like, how did you go from not masturbating to masturbating all of a sudden?
Well, my details are fortunately not gory. I was a late bloomer. I think I learned to masturbate when I was like 15 or 16 years old. So for a good number of years, I was just like a horny fucking kid, right? With no outlet. I was just like, I want to fuck things, but I don't know how. It made me really annoying and have a lot of energy, and I didn't know where to direct it. And because I had been looking at porn. I knew where to find porn since I was like 11, so I had been looking at porn from the age of 11 to 16, and for 5 years I wasn't masturbating. I was just like this sexually frustrated boy, and I tried copying what I saw, but it wouldn't work for some weird reason, until one day I had the idea to like dip into some lotion. I just scooped some lotion up into my hand and did what I normally tried to do, and like lo and behold, I felt something, and I just kept on going, and that was it. That was my first. I felt like I had invented.
Why did you have to make the sound?
Yeah.
That was me imagining my penis having like the weakest first orgasm ever, because it was just like, yeah.
It was like clear glue.
Yeah. And it wasn't like a forceful or amazing orgasm. It was memorable only for the fact that I had been trying to masturbate for so long, and was unable to, and I finally fucking got to do it. And to this day, I can't masturbate without lube. I know a lot of guys that can.
The dry rub.
Yeah, the dry rub, I can't, because my first time was with lube, and I never learned how to without it. What about you guys?
Wow.
Yeah, what Dora?
Oh, mine was anime. I've told you this before with Rule 34. Mine was anime. Mine was Naruto and playing game. That was my first thing. I didn't use lube on my first try.
Dry rub.
And then the funny thing is, we had the personal computer, and then I didn't know how to do the wala pang incognito before.
Yeah.
Wala pang, and then I did my best to try to like clear the trail. Tinanggap ko yung cookies, clear the history, and then nahuli pa rin ako, of course.
How?
And then my parents opened the computer, and then yun yung lumabas. Nagka-virus siya.
Oh no.
Yeah.
A classic early 2000s story.
Yeah, mga ganon. And then I was like, bakit ganito? And I blamed my cousins for it. So that's not me. That's probably my cousin.
Did it work?
That's what you do.
You're busy getting a virus from porn, and that being the giveaway is like our generation's version of getting the Betamax tape stuck in the tape player, and you can't get it out. You're like, fuck. We have to watch movies tonight. What?
What's the Zoomer version? Everyone has their own.
Magazines, I guess. Like there's Zoomers, so they're younger than us. What having the school call your parents because they found your nudes or some shit. That's the Zoomer version of that.
Yeah.
That's worse because it's your
worse.
news. It's
Absolutely.
not just porn. Oh God.
What about
Well,
you, Trisha?
my first time was really interesting because I was also like you. I was just I have horny male teenager hormones. Like that's just me. Like that's the level of horny that I'm operating at and that I was operating at that age. But I would just watch a lot of porn and play a lot of porn games on Newgrounds and just not masturbate. I would just like keep doing it until it went away.
See, I don't know how. That's why whenever I see like 11, 12-year-old kids, I am terrified because I don't know if they know how to masturbate yet. And quite frankly, I don't want to be thinking about it. But I also know how terrifying just a sexually frustrated 11 or 12-year-old is. Just, why am I feeling this way? For years.
I was a little demon for sure, but by the time I think I started masturbating, it was sex. It was through sexting on YM. That's with a peer.
Okay, good.
With a peer at
Much
first.
less creepy. At first.
No, but yeah. So I would sex with my peers. I actually met some really good friends that way. Friends I had for like until now. It's really strange to have started from there, but that's where I started. We were sexting each other
on
and
YM.
like daring on YM and daring each other to do things. And
gives a whole new meaning to buzz.
Yeah, so it's really interesting because like my first masturbation experience wasn't even alone.
Oh
like,
wow!
My masturbation is very like extroverty, like I am.
That's so weird. That's wow. You're the first person who I've met whose earliest experiences with masturbation were communal, but then it also makes a lot of sense.
Right?
Yeah.
It's very on brand.
So what were the myths that you heard about masturbation growing up? I mean, we all heard them. They pervade different cultures, and there's some that are universal. What are some of the ones that you guys know?
Myths?
My favorite one is that it makes you go blind.
Yeah, there's an old joke about that. Anak, don't masturbate too much, ha? You'll go blind. Nandito ako, tay.
That's a good one, though.
Yeah. There's when my mom used to tell me that if you masturbate too much, you'll go blind. I would tell her, why do you think my eyes get worse and worse every year? We have to get my grade refracted. Yeah.
I just had to have mine upgraded.
Dora, have you ever heard any your parents never told you, or your friends never told you any myths about masturbating among your friends?
Parang wala na. Weird. I don't know any masturbation myths.
That is strange. Because my friends were gym heads in high school. They were obsessed with getting like 6-pack abs and fit and shit. And there was a rumor that masturbating would drain you of protein because just protein.
I wouldn't say myth, but we had this. Diba kasi I used to compete a lot, and then we had this thing or tradition that we don't masturbate during competition season. Kasi it drains you for energy.
There is that pervading myth. Okay, so there's no science to back that up, but you'd be surprised how many sports adhere to this rule. Mixed martial arts, football players, lawyers, before a big fucking court thingy, whatever. It's a myth that pervades to this very day, and it's not true. Okay, so we have some customers weighing in. Guy says, for guys though, it helps them become taller. If that were true, I'd be like Kareem fucking Abdul-Jabbar by now. All right, I'd be taller than LeBron James. But no, I'm like 5'6", so fuck that. That's a myth. Nick says, a myth I was told that if I jack off a lot, I will ejaculate blood, and that stopped me for a good while. I've heard stories like urban legends. A friend of a friend jerked off so much they jerked off blood. A friend of a
Is it
friend
like
swallowed
an
a BB
STD?
and shot a dog. Yeah,
Maybe
if
you
you're
should go to the
bleeding from your
doctor.
penis, then you probably have an STD.
Yeah.
Randall says Manny Pacquiao is said to abstain from sex before a fight.
Now, that's just what he says because he doesn't want to fuck Jinky.
Ah!
I have a fight. I have a fight. Good night. Good night.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Right. So one of the other myths I've heard, and I think this really applies to people with vaginas more often than not, is that if you masturbate, especially if you like masturbate by using your fingers, penetration, you're no longer a virgin.
Okay, yeah, there's that weird little double standard between little boys and little girls again, because no guy has ever fucking heard that myth.
To be
Nobody's
fair,
ever gone to school and gone, guess who just fucking lost her virginity, bro? This guy.
Yeah, with us, it's just like everything basically can make you not a virgin. You know, like wearing a tampon can make you not a virgin.
Even overstretching, right? Like
mom.
splits and
Well, it can break your hymen, but like according to old conservative people, you know, anything from sticking your fingers up there to using a tampon to I don't know what else, like looking at naked people, whatever, you know, like they always have really weird rules for what virginity means. So I guess this is a good time to point out that virginity is a very personal thing. You know, it's a social construct, so you're kind of free to define it however you want. If you would like to think you're no longer a virgin because you fucked yourself good, you know what? Power to you.
Yes. And I lost my virginity to myself. That's a good checkmate. That's a good end game. Right?
And you didn't lose it because it's just like it's still there. You know,
it's mine. It's mine.
It's a gift to myself.
I lost my virginity to myself, and I still had to get myself drunk first. Another myth about masturbation. Okay, this is a dumb one I heard in high school. Most of these myths I heard in high school was that you only had like a finite number of sperm, and if you masturbate too much, then you'll run out of fertile sperm eventually. So it will make you infertile.
That sounds like some biblical shit.
Yeah. It's not true though.
Like Onan.
Like... Wait. Sorry, I'm reading the script. Does it shape or curve your penis?
It does not. That is another myth.
Isn't it? No, is it really? Is it like if you do it with your right, you train your? No. No, am I dumb?
Please finish that thought for me. I want to hear the rest of that. I would like to hear the rest of that.
No, if you do it with your right, because you're training the muscle to always go to the right. No.
Okay, well, first and foremost, the penis is not a muscle. I mean, it's
is it not?
No, it is.
Look at me.
It's technically a different kind of tissue. It doesn't flex in the same way that a muscle flexes. It's filled with blood and it inflates kind of like a hard balloon. So it's technically not a muscle. It's like it's skin tissue that gets hard.
That's why it's so soft when it's soft.
Yeah, that's why it gets so. Because if it were muscle, then it wouldn't be able to shrink the way it does.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Look at me learning the sex education part. This is the education part, right?
Yeah, this is it. This is bam, education.
You've been educated, Dora. So I guess just to clarify, you cannot it doesn't affect the curvature of your penis. But it seems like Dora's very indignant because does that mean?
I'm pretty sure that Dora's shaped his dick. Like he has successfully shaped his penis, and he's like wondering why everyone else hasn't.
I have been training this. I have been putting sticks and rubber bands just to get it straight. I have gotten 3 circumcisions just to adjust it.
Well, as long as you're happy. So I think one of the last myths we need to address, it's pretty common to hear that masturbation, or especially if you do it a lot, will cause cervical or prostate cancer. They just really want to scare you into not diddling yourself, huh?
Mm-hmm. When in fact, it is the opposite, but we'll get to that in a bit. We have one from Mark. Can we pull this comment up?
Yeah, this is a big comment.
I kind of don't want to read that on the air.
No.
No.
Okay. All right. Well, Randall says technically we do have finite sperm. We run out when we die. That's deep, man. Yep. Penis is skin. Penis is a skin. That's true. All right. So along with myths about masturbation, there comes a lot of stigma as well.
Wait, I just read the full comment of Mark. This is disturbing.
Yeah.
Maybe we should delete that comment and block this one.
No, I know, Mark, but I just don't want to read it out on air. We're not going to do that. Okay, yeah. So let's really talk about why a lot of these myths are they're still pervasive even today, especially in certain circles.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the biggest reasons why we have these myths is because we don't talk about it. We still have a lot of shame. There's still a lot of stigma surrounding masturbation. So I just want to know, where do you guys think the stigma and shame come from?
I think it's just religion, no? I think that's the only logical answer. It's religion. It's, yeah. No?
No, but
Yeah,
it's definitely correct.
absolutely. I absolutely agree. But also, I mean, the religion causes a lot of misunderstandings. Yes, you can use religion as a catch-all, but like, what does religion do exactly? It makes people ashamed to talk about it, and that because people are ashamed to talk about it, there's so much room for disinformation to grow.
Yeah.
I once saw in this like company training video how to deal with a gossip at the office is you give them the truth. Okay,
Yeah.
because when you tell a gossip the truth, then they can't spread lies anymore and claiming to not know the truth. It disarms them, right?
Yeah.
But because we are ashamed to talk about sex, there is so much room for misinformation to spread.
Yeah, and part of the religious shaming is just like general shameful attitudes around sex. You know, you're not supposed to have sex with anybody or any kind of sexual desire or any kind of sexual activity outside of reproduction and a marriage. And like there's a story of Onan specifically for male masturbation where he didn't really masturbate, right? He just he pulled out and then
he spilled his seed. He was the first to ever let his jizz touch the ground, because apparently before then everyone just came in people.
Yeah, apparently no seed has ever been spilled on the ground before, and that was like a huge sin. And I think God probably smote him or something. I don't remember anymore, but he probably got smoted. And
well, he wasn't smitten.
He was smoten.
Smoten. There you go.
And all because he decided to pull out, you know,
Yep.
and that was because at the time they believed that, you know, you had like limited life force in your sperm juice, in your penis juice. So if you spilled it, then, you know, you couldn't reproduce as much. And, you know, they really needed to reproduce because
there's also a theory that, you know, there was back then strength in numbers. So if you wanted to produce more, if you wanted to produce a big family, healthy children, you were encouraged not to waste your sperm, right? It was frowned upon. Like, if you're going to jizz, you better make it fucking count, man, because, you know, we're fucking dying out here in the desert and we need more hands to work the farm. So, you know, that sort of shit.
Yeah. And then, of course, when you get into the topic of masturbating as a person with a vagina, and it gets even more complicated because you're not supposed to have any kind of like sexual desire or anything. Like your husband uses you to have children.
Right.
And we have other people he fucks, but sorry ka na lang, diba? So women are not really seen as being sexual creatures. You know, you have like the ideal Mary, Blessed Virgin Mary figure. She probably didn't masturbate. I don't know, not canonically.
Not canonically, but I'm sure there's some fanfic out there.
Oh, there's definitely fanfic out there, but not canonically. So, you know, women kind of, or people with vaginas and women, people who identify as female, we have to kind of stick to this very strict, very sexless almost type. We have to take on that kind of personality as the Bible dictates to us. So it's really no surprise that in a majority Catholic country, we're extremely conservative about masturbation, especially when we're talking about women.
Mhm.
But, there's also like other stigma around masturbation that doesn't necessarily revolve around religion. So there are some people hold the idea that if you're masturbating, it's because you're not getting any, because if you could have sex, why would you masturbate? Like, that is the question, apparently.
I heard that a lot. I again in high school. Did you ever hear that, Dora?
Yeah. No, yeah. Because you can't do. Why would you do it yourself if you have someone else to do it for you?
Yeah.
But iba yung like masturbating is so different from sex. It's
better.
It's better. I know myself more. Yeah, no. I don't know. Not with this.
Well, yeah, it's really interesting because I understand sort of, like a lot of people when they first start masturbating, it's because they're teenagers and then they can't have sex yet.
Yes.
And so when they do have sex, it's kind of like, all right, I'm hands off now, like literally, because I'm just gonna bang all day, all night, whatever. But obviously, the older you get, the more you realize that relying on other people is not an effective sexual strategy. It's not sustainable.
Wow, that's great. Relying
why
on
do I have to
people is
go
not a
out?
good sexual strategy. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, fuck other people. I mean, okay, now that's the opposite of what we're talking about. Don't fuck other people. I mean, like at a certain point, you get to like, why do I have to subject myself to the humiliation of the mating dance, and go out and try to like fucking for an hour or 3 just so that somebody comes home and pretends to enjoy flopping around on me for 20 minutes before they go home and never speak to me ever again. When I can just like literally like 5 minutes, done, go back to my life. You know what I mean? Like you're
5 minutes.
Sometimes you gotta be quick.
Sometimes you just gotta
5? I do like 30. 30 seconds.
30, I don't have the luxury anymore of having 30-minute like jerk-a-thons.
Joba, have you ever tried to time yourself? Like how fast you can go?
To time
Speed
myself.
come?
Yeah.
No, I mean like I can tell you that once or twice I've come in like 5 to 10 seconds, like in real life. And by complete accident, it was just, oh no! Sorry, good night.
Honestly, same. That's happened to me a few times.
Yeah.
It's really
My fastest,
annoying.
I think, was like 49 seconds. 49, 50 seconds.
49?
Wow, you really timed it.
Yeah,
I
did
want to
time
know
it.
now what everyone's time is. I'm going to record myself. I'll time myself.
But
next time.
but you enter that the comfort room with like, I will come as fast as I can. It's more of a mental battle, honestly.
I love it. You know what? I'm going to try to not masturbate for like a week. And then
time yourself.
And then time myself.
It has to be like the speed stacks where the timer starts when you hold it.
I don't know if I don't masturbate for a week. If I hold it, I'll probably that's the end of it. But yeah,
Please update us.
It's not true that if you're masturbating, then you're not getting sex.
Yeah.
Because after a certain point, I mean, that's a very, I think, juvenile way to think about it because everybody masturbates, and who wouldn't like to masturbate if they have the time or the opportunity to do it by themselves, right? Why wouldn't you want to get off? Why do I need another person necessarily to feel sexual pleasure?
Yeah.
So I think that's just, yeah. Even people in relationships. I think one of the biggest misconceptions about marriage that nobody ever talks about is that people think that when you get married, you stop masturbating, especially among like older people, right?
Really?
That's not true.
You also
masturbate
hear
more often.
Yeah, because you hear the classic boomer joke, right? Like you stop having sex after marriage. What is wrong with the straights, by the way? Why do y'all stop having sex after marriage? Why do y'all end up hating each other?
My favorite straight people married joke is married people have three kinds of sex. There's house sex, which is where you fuck all over the house because you just got a house and you're fucking like crazy. And then there's bedroom sex because now you have people living in your house and you need a little privacy. And then the third is hallway sex. It's when you walk past each other in the hallway and say, fuck you.
Oh. The straights aren't okay.
Straights are not okay.
Okay, so I think that's a good point to move on from there. But before we move on to the rest of the discussion, let's listen to a clip from Ilyana and Guile, a new but determined independent acoustic folk duo who just released their first single last January. This is Kahit.
Kahit ayaw mo na, kahit laging masungit ka, kahit lumayo ka pa, kahit pigilan ng tadhana, ikaw pa rin sila.
Oh.
That was short.
Welcome back, Jabim.
I had to grab a beer.
Well, we'd like to thank our partner for this episode, Ilya. Ilya has new toys for you to play with for your self-exploration adventures. Jabim, can you help me out with the pronunciation of this?
The
Je.
Jijoule G-spot Bullet. This is a bullet vibrator that's great for internal G-spot and external clitoral stimulation. And there's the Jijoule Mimi Soft, which is a clitoral vibrator with deep rumbly motor, providing incredible vibrations to transfer deep into the body, accessing all of your hidden clitoral nerve endings. Jijoule Uma. Uma is a perfectly contoured and versatile vibrator for multi-level pleasure. The Fun Factory Stronic Surf. Fun Factory Stronic Surf is the improved version of Fun Factory's thrusting and pulsating toy. Fun Factory Nos. The Fun Factory Nos is a well-thought-of cock ring. It has a unique shape for a more versatile use that can also be used for the clit and nipples. And of course, the Fun Factory Volta. The Fun Factory Volta is a special kind of toy. Its design makes it great for teasing the clit and labia, and even great to assist with blowjobs. And they're all available at www.shopilya.com.
So if you want to win an awesome prize from Ilya, you can join a contest tonight by completing the phrase, self-care starts with loving my blank more. So you just have to complete the phrase.
I'm gonna join.
I think you can. I think Jabim and I can join. But you have to complete the phrase, self-care starts with loving my blank more. So just tweet your answers and don't forget to tag Ilya, that's at shop_Ilya, and @NowOpenPH on Twitter. So you'll have until next week, Monday, 12 midnight. So would that be Tuesday, 12 midnight? Anyway, Monday, 11:59, para madali. You have until Monday, 11:59 to tweet your answers. We'll be picking the best one. So put a little thought into it and you'll get rewarded with awesome prizes from Ilya.
This little creativity goes a long, long way. Okay, so now back to the wait. If you like what you hear and you want to support your beloved sexual delinquents, you can send us money like the whores we are. For less than the price of a cup of a bougie coffee per month, you can keep your favorite sex podcast up and running for many episodes to come. It comes with a lot of goodies like extra content, special shout-outs, and exclusive access to a VIP customer channel on Discord. You can even suggest an episode. It helps us a lot, and we really appreciate it. Now, back to the discussion.
Okay, so before the break, we were talking a little bit about the myths and we talked about the stigma. But to put all of that at rest, let's talk about some facts about masturbation. Mm-hmm. So I want y'all to guess, how many % of men and women do you think masturbate? Just give a random figure.
I'm biased because I'm going to say all.
I'm going
to say all, and the people, like, it's going to come out 60% of men masturbate and 40% of men are liars, you know? Because I don't believe it. I think everybody masturbates.
What about you, Dora? How many people do you think masturbate?
I think I'm with Jobim. I think all men do. But I do know a female friend. I asked her like, Mother Dai, do you masturbate? She says no. So I think a lesser percentage for women.
Okay.
Probably like 98% of women.
So
What's
you
the
think
actual stat?
okay, so the actual stat is that 95% of men say that they do. So this is
Okay.
self-reporting, maybe some of them are lying, who knows. But around 60 to 80% of women say that they do. And there was like another study that showed that around 22% of women have never masturbated ever. Ever. Not once. Does that sound right to you?
That is what a sad life they are living.
Okay, so based on what we talked about earlier about how shame plays into an unhealthy relationship, having an unhealthy relationship with masturbation, this does not surprise me as much because, it surprises me that there's 5% of men that dare to claim they don't masturbate. But
Maybe they're
I'm guessing
celibate.
those are like monks or like Eskimos that live in places with no
That they
like you
can't get a hard on because it's
they
cold.
can't get hard. Right. We're like masturbating will your penis will fall off.
I
But
feel like their bodies have adapted around that. They have igloos. Igloos are
Oh, so
warm.
I don't know, man.
it's an evolution thing. So now when they go to warmer areas, they have better hard-ons.
There
Oh
you go.
no.
That's why you see so many Eskimos in Miami. But yeah,
That last one might not be a fact. So
60 to 80% of women masturbating. I think that sounds realistic.
yeah.
Just because, yes, one of our customers earlier said that religion is tied to the patriarchy, so let's blame that because we were talking about what causes the shame. We centered on religion, and I think patriarchy does play a big part of why women don't masturbate either, because globally there's still so many parts of the world where women are made to feel shame about their bodies.
There are parts of the world where women's genitals are mutilated so that they don't feel pleasure. And they're just
Exactly.
Oh
like
yeah,
fuckholes for their creepy husbands.
that's true.
So there are so many parts of the world where we're not even talking a masturbation gender gap there anymore, but it just really goes to show that there is still a gap for a lot of reasons, one of which is the patriarchy, how we feel about female masturbation, but also how the patriarchy affects women and girls' like body image, how they feel about their bodies. Because if you don't feel good about your body, if you feel like you hate your body and you want to be skinnier and punish it for reasons, then you're not going to enjoy masturbating.
Mhm.
You're less likely to explore yourself in that way because you don't feel sexy, so why would you masturbate?
Exactly. Also, like, boys touch their dicks all the time, dude. Like, I don't know if you've ever spent time around a little boy. This sounds so wrong. I have a nephew, all right? I have a fucking nephew. And I also, guess what, used to be a little boy. So I know for a fact, little boys touch their dicks a lot. So there's less of a stigma around boys touching their dicks. Especially since, I mean, if you compare when kids are growing up, there's a certain point at which boys start talking about masturbation, and between them there's like this unspoken rule that it's all right, but then girls start talking about masturbation, and between them there's an unspoken rule that it's wrong. Where did that come from?
Oh, absolutely. There was a rumor going around in my high school because I mentioned to one friend that I tried masturbating or I was masturbating. And then the next time I heard it, when it came back to me, it was I masturbate in the school bathrooms with a bidet. And I'm like, yo, this got complicated. That snowballed. And it was like, I think I should have felt more ashamed, or they were trying to make me feel more ashamed. I wasn't that ashamed at the time because like I grew up in a household where it was kind of like relatively normalized. I understood that it was normal, but I also knew that I didn't want other people knowing it. So I wasn't really so much ashamed of the act. I was just like, God, why does everyone think I masturbate in the school bathrooms? Those are disgusting. That's how you
Yeah.
get like bacterial vaginosis and shit.
A yeast infection.
That's how you get bacterial vaginosis. Anyway,
you can get bacterial vaginosis just because the moon is weird. You know, like it just happens sometimes. Honestly, it's just like, oh, there it is now.
I think masturbation is also affected by how comfortable we are with our bodies and how we view ourselves. And I don't know, because the conversation about men and body image isn't as loud as the conversation regarding women and body image. So I'm inclined to believe that because of the way the world portrays women, a lot of women don't like their bodies. And so why would they want to explore them? Why would they want to treat their bodies well? Why would they feel sexy?
Age.
Yeah, especially at a young age.
I know it's really awful. So like because of all those reasons, there is a really, really big masturbation gender gap. But surprisingly enough, out of all the women that do masturbate, women in their 20s masturbate the most. Actually, I'm not really surprised. I feel like this is the time when, you know, because in your teens, if you start having sex at around that age, or like in your early 20s, you know, you go around and you fuck other people. But as you get into your mid 20s, late 20s, you're like, I'm not going to do that anymore. People don't know how to fuck me.
I think the reason that women in their 20s masturbate the most, it's a combination of the fact that your hormones are raging and the fact that men in their 20s are the absolute worst pieces of shit on the face of the planet. And women would rather fucking masturbate than have to fuck a dude their own age.
Oh,
because, straight men in their 20s are just the absolute fucking worst.
I wish I averted more terrible one-night stands with masturbation. I really wish I did.
You know what? Same.
There were a few I could have missed out on.
Same. Yes.
If you could talk to your 20-something-year-old self, you'd be like, stay home and masturbate more.
Invest in a really good vibe.
Yeah, don't waste 3 hours getting dressed in front of the mirror. Just jerk off. You'll be good. Buy some popcorn.
Right? Like, I don't have to shave for myself. I don't have to make sure each hair in my asshole is plucked out, you know?
I don't need to eat ice cubes for 3 days. It's
so bad for y'all. I just saw a tweet about this dude and his boyfriend, and they were talking about fiber, and I'm like, damn, y'all prepare.
Please take your fiber. Please take your fiber. Please take your fiber.
See, masturbation, nobody has to take any fiber. Although it's still, you should still get your fiber in. That's still important.
Today's episode is brought to you by Fiber. # please take your fiber. Okay. But yeah, one of our listeners also mentioned earlier, I believe it was Mark, he said masturbation is observed in utero, and it is completely natural. So, I mean, if it's something that even feti, is that the plural of fetus? Fetuses? Feti? Fetuses. Even if fetuses.
Feti?
You know, like,
that's a plural of feta.
Yeah, I mean, if even fetuses have like the instinct to do it, then you know it is perfectly natural, and I think that should tell us something about removing the stigma of masturbation, because it's something that happens as early as then.
But like, even if it's not natural, you know, like babies also do weird things.
That's
they
true.
put things in their mouths that they shouldn't do.
Baby,
but
dog shit. I wouldn't say that's natural, but you know, yeah.
That's why my IG handle is Doracrybaby, because I just put weird shit in my mouth all the time, like babies do.
Well, you've survived so far, so I think you're doing pretty okay. Unlike some babies. So, but the thing about masturbation, it's not only natural, you know, it's actually healthy. There's so many benefits to masturbation that even if it was completely like man-made, I don't know what, of course it's man-made. We're I don't know, like, if it was completely artificial or whatever, it wouldn't matter because it's good for you. So, Jabim, how are some of the ways that masturbation is good for you?
Oh, let me tell the ways. Shakespeare. Okay. So masturbation is good for your mental health, right? Masturbation is Of course, with anything, this cannot be overstated enough. If you do anything too much, it's going to be bad for you. So from
You,
here
you
on
want
out,
you want a story on that?
yes,
Oh,
please.
A
God.
quick one.
Yes, please.
So I still do masturbate multiple times a day, right? But in college, when I'm stressed and I want to sleep, I want to wake up, I masturbate. And then one morning, siguro third year, fourth year ako, medyo mga stressful years sa puro, projects, whatever. I started to have like I was sexually active and masturbating actively, at the same time. And then I had like I didn't know if but I masturbated one night and it hurt na. And then there were like red spots on my patutoy. And then I was like, oop, gotta go to the clinic. And then I went to the clinic and the doctor just said, please stop masturbating so much. Don't masturbate for a week and then the next time you do, use lotion. And I'm like, okay. It turned out to be like I was pulling too hard and then the skin snapped.
You had what
That
was
was it.
called an edema.
Oh, is that called an edema? That
Yeah,
sounds
we did
hot.
research. We did research for the show earlier, and apparently that's what it's called.
It
Oh,
sounds
that sounds
hot.
really painful.
It was mahapdi lang, more than painful. It was parang pouring alcohol on a wound. That was the feeling.
Oh.
I have on several occasions used improper lubrication and masturbated too much. And yeah, it does burn when you put it on your skin because you don't feel the microscopic tears on your penis skin. It's how
Yeah.
I assume dry vagina feels after it's been pounded. You know what I mean? Like
Ah.
sore
Oh, I
and just
hate
like
that
chafed.
feeling.
I'm assuming that's what I compare it to. But yeah, so anything that you do too much is going to be bad for your mental health, and apparently, according to Dora, your genital health as well. But if so from here on out, we're going to be talking about like the healthy the healthy implementation of masturbation. So it releases feel good hormones like oxytocin and dopamine and gives you a rush of pleasure. In fact, the brain, while orgasming, mimics 95% of the brain of someone on heroin. Do you know how fucking good heroin is? Have you ever heard like straight dudes go, I'd suck a dick for heroin? Do you know how good anyway, the fact that if the brain while orgasming mimics 95%. So if you ever wanted to try heroin, just like fucking have an orgasm and you're 95% of the way there. The part of the brain that maintains control shuts down. It reduces anxiety and stress. It acts as a distraction. It can take you out of like a manic state by making you refocus on other things. It can even be used as a mindfulness meditation to focus on the present. In fact, there are types of mindful meditation that focus on sexual energy. There's tantric meditation. It's not just tantric. There's like lots of
Even
different
like,
kinds.
well, I don't know if they're podcasts or they're apps, but there are places where you can get like sexy masturbation meditation, like somebody just talking in your ears and guiding you through it.
Oh wow.
And that's like a form of meditation because what is meditation? Staying in the present, learning how to be in the present and not focusing on the past or the future. And when you masturbate, you're hella in the present.
Mm-hmm.
Ideally, your head's
yes.
there. So
Look at
for
me.
all
Yes.
the people, oh, we have a comment here from one of our customers. Cute ni Dora when they say pututoy. So for those
Pututoy.
without pututoys, for those with uteruses and vaginas, masturbating can actually be really, really good to relieve menstrual cramps, menstrual pain, because as we mentioned earlier, it releases all those feel-good hormones that, reduce your pain. It promotes healthy sleep. And it's great. It's great to do it right before bed because, you can tire yourself out a little bit. You're flooded with good hormones and then you go to sleep. Awesome. And your dreams will be awesome.
Have you ever heard of a pump and dump?
It sounds terrible. It
when
sounds
you
like some kind of
masturbate.
true crime stuff.
No, you just orgasm and fall asleep, and you wake up sticky the next day and covered in ants. Anyway,
I hate it. And you smell like Zonrox. It's not a good.
Oh my
not
god!
a
At
good-
least
it's-
wash your hands and your face.
It's not a good place to start in the morning where you wake up to bleach. No, please.
That's more of a
Masturbation-
bad side effect of masturbation.
Well, masturbation also, yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to say masturbation also helps improve the quality of sex. Like if there is a stigma that you masturbate less when you were in a relationship, and I don't see why that should happen. I mean, I don't take it personally. In fact, I encourage it if my partner masturbates a lot, even when we're in a relationship, because it gives you more rewarding orgasms. And just because you're in a relationship, it doesn't mean that I'm not going to expect my partner to tick all of the boxes for all of my sexual desires all the time. You know, what if my partner's busy? What if they're not into that kind of thing? What if they're not in the emotional headspace to do the kind of play that I'm into right now? Then fucking masturbate, dude. It's great. It'll help. It's not only going to not hurt your relationship, it'll help make your relationship better because now you're not putting undue stress on your partner.
Yeah. And because you have all those happy hormones flooding inside you, you're generally probably going to be a happier, more agreeable person too. So it's a win-win. So, Jobim, I know you have I'm not sure if you're going to tell us this story, but I love this story of yours where earlier we talked about the myth that masturbation causes prostate or cervical cancer. But we said that was false and we were going to talk about it a little bit more. So why don't we talk about it a little bit more?
Okay, so I can't mention his name, but I know somebody who's like super, super religious and refuses to masturbate for masturbation's sake. They think it's not godlike. So what they did was they went online and they checked the Journal of American Medical Association of the American Medical Association or something and found out that the minimum amount of time that is required to masturbate to prevent prostate cancer is 21 times a month. So that's what he does. He masturbates the requisite 21 times a month.
No more, no less.
The minimum, the bare fucking minimum, just so he doesn't get prostate cancer. Because it's true. The chances of developing prostate cancer are lower in people in men that masturbate 21 times a month rather than men who were observed to masturbate only 4 to 7 times a month. Very specific numbers, but yeah, that's what the study said.
There's a lot of extensive research on this if they can narrow it down to 21.
I am getting prostate cancer.
I just love that there's an entire branch of science that's just like Chads who decided, we want to study jerking off. We want to study jerking off. You know, like Chad scientists. I fucking love it.
So one other benefit of masturbation, aside from staving off prostate cancer, is that if you're currently experiencing any sexual dysfunction, for example, if you can't really get it up or stay hard, or if you find it difficult to orgasm with a partner, or if you have vaginismus, which is when your vagina just goes and does not release. Mm-hmm. You know, that's a scientific explanation. Masturbation can help with sexual problems. So,
I mean, like, because so many sexual problems are also linked with like self-esteem and body image. Masturbating helps get you comfortable with your body and feeling sexual pleasure. I mean, I know I think I'm the shit in bed because when I masturbate, I am the motherfucking best in the world. Why would I be number 2 in my fantasy, right? So, I mean, if you're number 1 often enough, you'll fucking believe it.
Yes.
That is true. And a lot of sex is confidence.
Yeah.
And of course, when you're masturbating, and even if you have body image issues, you'll realize that no matter what your body looks like, it can feel pleasure. It can make you feel all these incredible things, even if you think you're 50 pounds overweight or have stretch marks or whatever perceived imperfections you think you have. Your body will feel the pleasure. And to know that you have the power to give yourself that without the need for validation, and to know that you are capable of that, that's such power. That's such confidence. Mm-hmm. Honestly, masturbating really helped me too, because it also freed me from the shackles of having to peacock with other partners. You know, I'm just like, you know what? I'm just going to love myself today. I'm the only validation I need today.
No thanks, guys. I'm just gonna stay home and jerk off. I'm good.
Tapos na ako today. Okay na.
Saya na ako.
Yeah, I'm good. Okay na. Thanks.
Text your crush. Sorry, di pala kita crush. I just masturbated. I'm good.
So many times though. Sometimes you just need to clear it out.
Yeah, I just masturbated and scrolled through your Instagram. I don't feel anything anymore. I'm fine.
So, of course, lastly, if you're ever worried about your pelvic muscles like loosening it up, which does happen with age and could lead to things like incontinence, if you're worried about that, masturbation regularly works out those little muscles in your pelvic area, because when you're orgasming, those go a little bit crazy. So when you work those out, you're less likely to lose those muscles and more likely to, strengthen those. Basically, it's like Kegels, but fun. I think Kegels are very fun, personally.
Kegels, but fun.
I don't enjoy them.
Kegels, but fun.
That's what I'm doing right now. Kegels and butt fun.
At this very moment. We love a multitasking queen. So now that we've talked about why masturbation is good for you and what all the source of the shame is, what are some of the tips that we have for our customers today about how they can masturbate?
Okay, number one, and this is from personal experience. Take note, kids. Don't masturbate in public. It's illegal. All right, so...
That's very
the last thing you want to hear when you're masturbating is welcome to Jollibee, ma'am, sir. Can I take your order? So make sure that you are in a secluded area where the only people who can see you masturbate are people who have given you their consent.
Yeah. Yes. And if that's the entirety of Jollibee, then I guess that's one thing, but good luck.
You ruined my child's birthday party!
What is happening? Who masturbated in the fast food chain?
I'm sure a lot of people. Wasn't there like a dude who was arrested recently for masturbating for 9 hours in a McDonald's in the States?
That's impressive. Number two.
Yes. Dora and I were both like, how?
What I'm impressed at is that it took them 9 hours to call the police.
I know, right? Yeah. Did it take the police 9 hours, or did the people at McDonald's just like watch for 8 hours and wait to call?
And then they decided at the 9th hour, okay, I'm good. I'm done with this.
We've had enough.
This is the final straw. But yeah,
after 8 hours.
So yeah, don't masturbate in public. It is illegal, but it's also terrible. You're not getting the consent of people around you. That's flashing. So respect other people's boundaries. They'll respect yours. Another, I think, really close to number one. It was a close contender for number one. Wash your hands, goddammit.
This is not practiced enough. Okay, I have come over to my friends' houses far too many times and seen like dirty sex toys on the bedstand. It's like wash your fucking sex toy, dude.
Is this my house?
No, it's not your house.
I clean them, but I still leave them lying around.
I know yours are clean because I see yours by the sink. See, that's a good example. That's how you lead by example. But I'm seeing like fucking dildos on the floor. Like, fuck, God. Get it out of your dog's mouth, dude.
Like, do you know the amount of germs are on your hands? I mean, like, I hope now with the pandemic, we fully understand the germs we pick up. I realized during this pandemic, I did not wash my hands enough in the last 25 years. And please, you're touching your genitals. That's like really sensitive. And especially if you have a vagina, seriously, you breathe wrong and you will get an infection. So I'm just kidding. But like sometimes, especially if you've already had past infections, sometimes it'll just flare up, especially if you introduce germs. So wash your hands, wash your toys.
Air drying it doesn't help because bacteria will dry on your sex toys. And like once you wet them, they might come back to life again, whatever. Number 3. Okay, so number 3, I told you guys that I've always masturbated with lube, right? But I haven't always masturbated with the right lube because I was a horny teenager, which means I will masturbate with what's there. I don't know if you guys remember this, but in the early 2000s, Palmolive came out with a henna shampoo.
You guys are dropping a lot of brands today.
Yeah, you guys. Do you guys remember
We're
the
not on the air.
Palmolive henna tattoo? I mean henna shampoo.
I've seen it. Hana, Hana. Yeah, I've
no,
seen
no,
Hana.
henna. Like no.
It colors your hair.
Yeah, it used to color your hair black. Because the henna treatment was all the rage in the early 2000s. So that's what I had in my bathroom. And I just needed to masturbate, man. So after like 15 minutes of masturbating with shampoo that is clinically designed, scientifically proven to darken your hair, not only was my palm purple for a week, but it looked like I had an eggplant between my legs. For like,
which is the ideal situation.
well, no, I mean like a baby eggplant.
Like a fun surprise.
The color was right, the proportions not so much.
But it could also look diseased or like dead.
Yeah,
like a zombie dick.
I looked like I had a bruised penis because my dick skin had absorbed the henna. So yeah, use lubricant. Avoid any lubricant with dyes.
Well, that's also just generally a good idea not to have dyes near your pee-pee hole. You know,
Don't masturbate with shampoo. Don't masturbate with shampoo.
No,
It
if
might
you're
be
gonna
tempting, but
masturbate
don't.
with lube, use lube that's actually genital safe. You can get a
Yes.
lot from Ilya. My favorite one from Ilya is Sliquid. Oh my god, there's like 20 flavors, and cherry vanilla is my absolute favorite.
Elia. I've been on their site for a while now. The Fun Factory Magnum looks fun.
Fun Factory is a really good brand. Honestly, I have like 3 toys from them. Will buy again. Really good.
Okay.
So,
I will
what
take
other
your word
tips
for
do
it.
we have
All right.
for our? How about you, Dora? Do you have any tips for our customers?
With me, explore porn because you never know what you'd like. I'm stuttering because I'm so excited. I have like favorite porn stars, right? But then it gets old, and then you get to other people, other storytelling, other stories, diba? It's fun, and you get to parang try new things, which is
I
why
like
parang
how rarely have I ever heard anyone discuss masturbation and use the word storytelling. I want to dive more into what it is exactly that you masturbate to, that you feel the need to describe it as storytelling.
Hey, some of them out there are works of art.
yes, and meron yung the skiing coach helps someone ski, and then they feel each other up.
Narrative.
Yes, the story
Technique, art
matters.
structure. Yeah.
Yes.
Giselle saying we like our porn with a good narrative. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Actually, that's why I paid money. I paid real money to subscribe to Lust Cinema because it's like female directors. They have like a wide range of bodies, disabled people, old people, all skin colors, all orientations, all kinds of stories, polyamory, whatever. And
Yeah.
it's just glorious because it's like you never see these people on like Pornhub or like mainstream porn sites, or they don't get very
Yeah.
popular. And there's acting, and they're good. They're good actors, and the script is sometimes bad, but sometimes good.
Yeah, Giselle says the not in, it was a popular meme before, the not in front of my salad, but like it's what do you call that? It's an exaggeration of a kink, of like the kink of getting caught, right? And it's literally they're fucking each other in front of someone eating a salad, hoping
is
not to get
literally-
caught.
That is literally my last searched porn term. I think it was like getting caught or
Right?
yeah, almost
So-
caught. Yeah.
They're just pushing limits, and they're visionaries. Porn writers are visionaries.
Yeah, so like when you're masturbating, it's really important to experiment with the kinds of porn that you watch, experiment with the kind of fantasies that you have,
Yeah.
and of course also experimenting with the different positions for masturbating. So you could do the classic lie on your back and go, or you can lie on your stomach, on your side, upside down. It's like sex. There's positions. And different positions will give you different feelings, and also it'll just feel different. It won't feel like your regular routine.
If you if you wanna try fucking a fleshlight, but you're a broke ass bitch like me, what you can do is you can go to
yeah. Go
you
ahead.
can go to like any sporting goods store and look for a flotation device. You know those
Okay,
flotation devices that you put.
that still needs money. I have a tip for you.
What's good?
Get a cup, get a glass, whatever, like a glass, and get a sponge, right?
Right. Okay. Yes. Two
And
sponges.
then yeah,
And
two
get a
sponges
glove.
or one, and then I get a glove, and then
Yep.
put the glove over. I've done that before.
I
Yeah.
hope
No,
these are
that
very
hurt
clean.
my penis. That hurt my dick because I could still feel the sponge through the glove. And it was rough, man. Maybe I shouldn't have used Scott's scouring pads that I use for the dishes. Maybe maybe I shouldn't have used the bath loofah.
So for people with vaginas, I highly do not recommend putting things up your vagina that don't belong in there, that aren't designed for that. I mean, we've all been there. We've all used a hairbrush handle, or in my case, ice candy. You know, like we've all done our fair share of things.
I've used yung mga payong na it wasn't yung handle, it wasn't yung curved. It's like straight like that.
You fucked
Okay.
an umbrella.
I fucked an umbrella.
Wow.
Wait,
Because
clarify.
because
an
it was
umbrella handle. Right? Okay, good. Because like an umbrella sounds dangerous. An umbrella sounds like you're one slip away from Mary Poppins.
Oh my god, that sounds like the most painful trip to the ER I can imagine.
It will be an embarrassing trip to the ER.
Great story for them.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like I know we've all had these experiences, but to our young impressionable customers, please don't do these things or do them at your own risk. We do not recommend them because those parts are sensitive, and that's the reason why sex toys are designed a certain way so that they don't hurt you in the process. Because if you use a hairbrush or something, you're gonna scratch yourself up, and not to mention all the germs on that. So
don't use the spiky end of the hairbrush. What kind of fucking use the handle? God damn it!
No, don't use the handle. Use a sex toy or your fingers. Or you know what?
Right.
You can like hump a pillow. That's probably pretty safe.
Another bit of advice I'd like to give.
Humping a pillow is so underrated. I think that's very far.
Just like that's true. But honestly, dry humping is in general and frotting or whatever, very, very underrated.
Also, clip your fingernails.
Yes, clip your fingernails.
Regardless.
Another bit of advice I'd like to impart on people is do not focus solely on the orgasm. I know it's cliche, but it's not about the destination. It's about the journey. And you know what? If you do touch your body, if you do explore yourself, if you explore different parts of your body that you're not used to stimulating, then it's going to make your orgasm that much more rewarding.
Right. Do you remember that scene in Friends where Monica drew like the different zones and it was like 7, and then you go like 3, 4, 1, 2, 9, and so basically it's that scene. You want to touch the other parts of your body. Just give it a try. It might feel weird at first to not go straight for the goods, but it's like sex. You have to have foreplay. So touch yourself, caress yourself in the different parts that are sensitive to you.
And speaking of parts that are sensitive to you, masturbation doesn't have to be exclusively with yourself. We've been talking about masturbation this entire episode as a means of exploring and pleasuring yourself, but masturbation doesn't necessarily have to be limited to that. Masturbation is also a great way to experience sexual pleasure with a loved one, with a sexual partner, or several. It's like a Swiss Army knife, man. It can just do all.
Actually, mutual masturbation is one of my top favorite ways to have sex. Because like you get to watch your partner fuck themselves, which is, by the way, the best thing you could ever see.
The way I like to describe it, it's like it's porn, but in real life. What's better than that? Like, 'cause sometimes you just want to jerk off. Sometimes you don't want to have to expend the effort to like move your fucking hips. So just, I know you're here, but let me just jerk off in front of you.
But hey, then you get to put on a show for them, and that's also kind of fun
Yeah.
sometimes, without
Mhm.
being as much effort as having to thrive around.
Exactly.
So that. Oh, before I end, we actually have a really good comment here from customer Giselle. This is a really good tip.
Oh,
Find
find
a
a
rhythm.
rhythm.
Very good tip. And this is very, very true for people with vaginas, like clit stimulation. Honestly, a lot of it is just finding the stroke and the rhythm that works for you, and then
Mhm.
just staying on there. And then eventually orgasm is just, it's inevitable.
If you
Mm-hmm.
want a good starting point in terms of rhythm, I suggest listening to "Turning My Safety Off" by Sino Sikat. Yeah, Randall just said so. Jack off the music. Yeah, listen to "Turning My Safety Off" by Sino Sikat. Just because lyrically, it's like turning my safety off, and it's a sexy ass fucking song. It's a good one to masturbate to.
Hmm. So that was our episode for masturbation. I was really looking forward to this because we're all chronic wankers
Yep.
here. I'm so sad Kai couldn't get to join us because she has a wide arsenal of toys and
I
anecdotes.
know.
She has the best ones. Kai, we miss you if you're listening. Please come back soon.
We need our
Have a
masturbation expert back.
Honestly, I think she probably masturbates the most.
No, no,
Still you?
no. I'm
Huh?
sorry, but that's impossible. No.
We're gonna have the Wank Awards very soon.
I masturbate far too often. All right, yeah. What did you guys take away from
You know
today's
what?
episode?
My, confidently, my takeaway is what Trisha said, that I don't have to rely on my sexual pleasures on another person. That's
Mhm.
the best takeaway that I can. Yeah.
Weirdly enough, my takeaway was not what I thought it would be. Something reached out and grabbed me tonight, which was there were so many things, there were so many mistakes that I could have avoided had I chosen to stay home and masturbate. Which just tells you how many of my bad decisions were motivated by sex in my
Mm.
in my 20s.
Oh, yeah.
So if anybody is in their 20s right now, I know it's not the same because we're in a pandemic and you don't get to have as much promiscuous sex as you'd like, but when the world restarts, rethink some of your decisions and be like, do I really want to do this? You know what? How about this? Before making any big drastic decision, masturbate first. How about that? Because I think
Eat,
a lot of my
masturbate, shower, take a nap.
yes, because once those needs are met, you probably won't want to do that stupid shit you wanted to do
I will
anymore.
take. I
Anyway,
will run with that. I will run with that. I
mhm.
will start doing that.
There you go.
I think for me, what
But
I
what if
want
I'm in a store and I wanted to buy shoes?
You shouldn't
Number one,
masturbate then
it's
either.
it's illegal. Okay,
It's
what was yours,
illegal.
Trisha?
Well, for me, I guess my takeaway, what I want to address this customer comment from Francine. I feel like I have missed out on a lot of experiences listening to all of you. I just recently started masturbating. I still don't know what an orgasm is, and I'm already 27. So I guess my takeaway or what I want to end on is that, Francine and other people who are just starting out to masturbate, you know what? It's never too late.
Mhm.
It's never too late to learn to love your body and to learn what makes it feel good. Because honestly, some people masturbate for years and never get an orgasm. So, everyone's experience is different. Everyone's journey is at a different pace. So just take it at a pace that feels comfortable for you and do the things that make you feel good, that don't encroach on the rights or boundaries of others, like masturbating in public. But do what makes you feel good. And honestly, I'm a little bit jealous for people who are like just starting out because they get to experience it for the first time all over again. And, that's just magic. So
It
good
is.
luck
It
and
is.
have fun.
We have a comment from customer Francine who says, "Do you have an episode that talks about difference between sexual appetites of couples?" And yes, we do. In fact, our episode where we guested a sex therapist. I'm not sure what episode that was.
Oh no, I think that was a different episode. We have an episode on dead bedrooms.
Ooh,
So
dead
that is,
bedrooms. A good
yeah,
one.
dead bedrooms. So dead bedrooms basically when you have a different two partners with different libido and one
Mhm.
person's unsatisfied with the sex life. So if you want to learn more about the differences between sexual appetites of people in relationships, you can check out our Spotify for our episodes, or you can also catch it on Facebook and YouTube. So make sure to check that out, Francine. So
There you go.
before we say goodbye, we want to open up the floor to questions from our customers. For today's opening up, we have an anonymous letter that is very relevant to today's show for the first time.
Okay.
This letter writer writes, I think I spend too much time masturbating. Jobim, I told you to stop sending in messages.
Sorry. I need help. I need help.
But instead of stopping, what tips do you have to get the most benefit out of your masturbation session? Coming is great, but I need to accomplish more while I do it. So this is a veteran masturbator.
First off, I already love this person. Their solution was not to masturbate. I love it. The logic is like, I don't want to masturbate. I have a problem, but I don't want to jerk off less. I want to know how to get the most out of my fucking problem. And I love that. I love that mindset. I think all you have to do is take to heart everything that we mentioned on this episode. All of our tips. We gave out like 9 techniques or tips for masturbation. I'll run through them real quick. Don't masturbate in public. Wash your hands and toys. Use lubricant. Set the mood and take your time. Try different positions. Touch different zones, not just your genitals. For those with vaginas, there are different kinds of orgasms. Do not focus solely on your orgasm. And masturbation doesn't have to be exclusively yourself. If you follow all of those, I think you'll get the most out of your masturbation. If you, God, I relate to you so hard, dude. Like I also want to know how to make the most out of my masturbations. And I think if you choose less quantity and more quality, because if you forgo the quality and just masturbate, you're always going to be chasing that dragon because the orgasms are not satisfying. So instead of having lots of different little orgasms, I suggest you pick like an hour and a half, 2 hours, where you can put on some candles, really set the mood. You found the porn that you want, and you can just go at it uninterrupted, unadulterated. Just, this is what I am supposed to be doing at this allotted time, so nothing else is bothering you.
To add to that, I think how you can make it more quality and less quantity is to be mindful. As we mentioned, masturbation is a form of mindfulness meditation. You don't actually have to meditate, but just be very present. Make sure that you're free from distractions. Make sure that you've kind of gotten rid of the negativity. You've let go of the day's work. You're relaxed and you're present in the moment and you're ready to commit to that moment. So if you commit to your masturbation, you just go, I'm going to enjoy this and I'm going to focus on every sensation and I'm not going to let my mind wander or whatever. Then you're going to have a great session because you're going to feel satisfied that you fully immersed yourself in that experience. So that's
Absolutely.
my final advice. So if you'd like to send us your anonymous questions or confessions, you can submit through our now opening form. The link is in the description and in the comments. So normally this is the part where I ask Dora to promote their stuff, but it seems like they have, what great timing.
I am sorry. Are you saying bye?
Yep.
Actually, we were just about to ask you to promote your stuff.
Oh, the normal stuff. Every Monday to Thursday is Magic 89.9, 7:30 to 9 a.m. We will have oh God, I forgot her name. It's so hard to pronounce.
Dr. Sharmila Parmanand.
Yes, on Thursday. We're going to talk about sex work on mainstream radio. So
Awesome.
yeah, it's going to be a ride. Yeah.
So to those
I am
who
nervous.
She is honestly one of the most intimidating guests we've ever had on because she's just so cool and credible.
Yeah, Trisha, we were just talking about it earlier. She is like the most intimidating guest we ever had on the show.
So to those who want to listen in on an episode, a few episodes ago, we did one on sex work and feminism featuring the incredible Dr. Sharmila Parmanand, and you'll catch more of her this Thursday. I'm going to tune in.
Yes,
Absolutely.
please.
We have one listener.
It's going to be an interesting show.
How about you, Jobim? Anything you want to promote?
Looking both ways before you cross the street. Not promoted often enough. My Twitter is Jobimism, JOBIMISM, and my Instagram is Jobim Javier. There you
Right,
go.
and I am at Trisha O'Bannon on Twitter. I also want to promote a meetup that we're doing next week for Ethical Non-Monogamy Philippines. It is a Facebook group for anyone who's interested in polyamory or ENM, whether you are actually polyamorous or monogamous or just figuring it out. We welcome all types as long as you're curious and free of judgment. We have a meet next Friday, I believe. We are talking about jealousy. So, what is jealousy? Where does it come from? And how to get rid of it? Just kidding. You can't get rid of it, but how to deal with it. So, if you want to join, make sure you join the Ethical Non Monogamy Facebook group first so you can get the details there. You can also get more updates on events, episodes, and other things by following Now Open on our socials. We're on Facebook and Twitter at Now Open PH, and of course, you can catch past episodes on YouTube, Spotify, Facebook, wherever else you get your podcasts. Don't forget to donate and subscribe to our coffee to get extra perks, and join the Discord channel to have fun with us. We stream games and send memes and things, so it's a really fun little community. So thank you again to Ilya for partnering up with us for this episode. Next episode is going to be really exciting. So if this week you're having Dr. Sharmila on your show, next week we're going to have a sex worker to tell us what it's like to live a day in the life in their shoes. So what do they do? How do they prep for their work? How do they feel? What kind of customers do they get? If you've ever been interested in a peek into the life of a sex worker, make sure you tune in next week. Same time, same place, Tuesday, 9 p.m. See y'alls when we next open.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da.